you've got some intriguing young players who could potentially be on this roster, and if they are, may not be getting the regular, there's a potential situation where they might not be getting the regular time that they've been getting in the minor leagues. If there are younger bench guys, candidates for the bench, how do you view that?
Yeah, I don't know that to be necessarily the case. Tom still will determine the roster, but I don't know. I mean, everybody has their own interpretation of, a younger player. But if guys are just breaking in the big leagues, we feel like they probably need to play. So they probably need to be more everyday type players. That being said, there is a scenario or two maybe where a guy's splitting the time but still getting regular time in the big leagues. But if a young player is breaking in is not getting consistent at bats that is new to the big leagues, then typically that's not the case. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the other day you were talking about Yu and how he's the prototype of a player who could play into his 40s, and a lot of that is because of the discipline and how routine-based he's been early on in his career, carrying over now into this part of his career.
Right.
What is it about him that you think sets such a good example for some of these younger guys?
Well, again, you can speak, and those are important, but your actions do speak louder than your words. And I've had the good fortune of seeing you in this league for many years, and I've always tracked, not only with you, but just guys that have played for a long time in this career with my player development background, what allows people to have longer careers. And it's a lot of things. It's attention to detail. It's a hunger to be great at all turn. It's taking care of your experiences and other people's experiences. But a big part of that is also just taking care of yourself. Your body is your tool, ultimately, of how you're going to continue to perform in this game at a high level. And, with you, it's clear he does a lot of the things I just mentioned very well. But he's very clear with his routine, his discipline off the field, with his nutrition, and how he takes care of himself, how he works on his recovery, his preparation before he goes out to throw a bullpen, obviously for a game. It's very intentional and it's very dedicated. And, so that's what has allowed him, beyond his talent, to extend his talent to have an extended career. Yes, ma'am.
We talked about the transition of Xander to second. How about for Ha-Seong going to shortstop on a full-time basis? I mean, how's that been going, and is there anything that he sort of needs to change or get up to speed on in transition over there for full-time?
Yeah, good question, Scan. The good news with Ha-Seong going back to shortstop is he just plays defense. He's done it historically, did it 2 years ago at a high level. He did it last year on more of a temporary basis. But I was always impressed by him the last couple of years, hitting ground balls to him. He just goes out and then watching him play like we all have. Hey, you're at second today. You're at short today. You're at third today. And just goes out and makes plays. He's just a good defender. He's intentional about his work at all the different spots. But I don't think there's any issues with him going back to shortstop. He's picked up right where he left off.
Do you think it helps that he's now on a consistent basis and he knows he's there? Does that help expand what he's able to do instead of any player in general just concentrating on one thing as opposed to three or four?
Yeah, I do think in general it does help when players have clarity of what their roles are. And certain guys compartmentalize things just better than others. And this guy is really able to, probably the best I've ever seen, actually, and I've thought about it a little bit, of being able to, regardless of where you play and move around, you just figure out a way to get it done, and not doesn't complicate how you approach it. Some guys do that better than others, and clearly it's acceptable with whatever their styles are. But I do think in general that being able to play at a certain position and be set and know what that looks like, showing up every day has a benefit.
Putting Fernando to the side, it seems like your outfielders are making your job a little bit tougher here. They're all seemingly playing pretty well. Just talk a little bit about that.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we came into the camp with really open spots with competition. And the first thing that I was impressed about with the entire group, because now the list is long.
Yeah.
And we got some guys, is just how, two things. One, how prepared guys were coming into camp. Two, how assertive they've been about going and competing and being aggressive and taking the opportunities and and running with it. But also, 3, how good they've still interacted with his teammates. It's been impressive. And listen, there's going to be some hard decisions, but I welcome that. They've done a nice job. I applaud them all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What have you thought of Graham Pauley and kind of his approach at the plate?
I just love the fact that I saw him a little bit last year in San Antonio in their playoffs, and he drove some balls to the left center gap. I love this guy's got that easy power that we can talk about in our game. I can never relate to it personally. My best ball was like, hey, shallow center, man. I got all of it. But he just has that easy power. Like yesterday, just an easy swing, just the ball comes off his bat. Can't explain it, but certain guys just have it. And when he's just in a good place and just trying to put a good pass on the ball and square it up and just, man, really good things are happening. This guy's got a really pretty swing, and he's got, like I said, that easy power, and he's got the right approach for the big part of the field. A lot of good things are going to happen for Graham.
You mentioned the way that guys have interacted with one another, and yesterday I asked you about the camaraderie of kind of that young prospect group. When it comes to more of the veteran players inside that clubhouse, what do you like to see as far as their relationship to some of those young guys, at least at this point?
Definitely a two-way street with that one, because the player development group that's coming up, we've alluded to it, on the position player and the pitching side, there's been a strong camaraderie of real healthy, how are we going to do this together? They know they're in competition for spots in the big league club. They're doing everything they can to create those opportunities for themselves, but they're doing it together. It's really special to see. The second part of that I make sure it gets appreciated, you come into a big league clubhouse with proven guys that maybe you had posters of when you were, growing up on your wall. But that group of our veteran leadership has been tremendous in welcoming that group, making them feel comfortable and allowing them and encouraging them to play free. And also still teaching them how to go about their life and being a big leaguer. And this is how we conduct ourselves on the field, off the field. This is the routine of what things look like. This is just how we go about our business as a big league player, and being respectful of the time that these guys have. So I really applaud our staff, our leadership of our big league clubhouse players, and also, the younger players coming in and embracing and being open to asking questions and being available to the wisdom.
You've talked about identity a lot, I feel, this spring training. What do you really hope that this team shapes out to be, ideal situation?
Yeah, identity has a lot of different tentacles to it. The starting point, in a broader sense, your identity is only as strong as the challenges that you're going to face. And the reality is, we're going to face challenges. It's a long season. It's a competitive league. Clearly, it's a lot of thin margins for winning and losing. So, how strong is our identity on the field to be able to withstand when things don't go well? Because you have to stand for something. All right, so that's the first part of the identity. The other part of the identity is, and the group's talked about this. I don't want to get out of school, but this is a group that's very intentional about being respectful and representing the San Diego Padres in a first-class manner on and off the field. And we do have some really wonderful models for that in our clubhouse that are good in our community, that take care of a lot of things publicly in the community, and do a lot of good charity work privately that a lot of people don't even know about nor never will. And the players appreciate that too. So it's a group that cares about San Diego like myself, and we want to make sure we represent it on and off the field with class and dignity. That's part of our identity.